Hey guys, I'm Lee from Lee Likes Music, the place to share, explore and learn about rock music from Bandcamp. And in today's video we're going to talk about Steven Wilson's first solo album, which is called Insurgentes. So that's coming up. This is the first video in my series. We're going to do a series of all of the solo albums that Steven Wilson has released, because he is releasing a new album not too long, like 4 days, three days into the future, the 18th of August. He's releasing a new album, which is going to be really exciting. So I thought that this would be a great opportunity to just sum up everything that he has been doing over the years. So for you guys who don't know who Steven Wilson is, he is basically a record producer, multi-instrumentalist and musician. For most people who have actually heard about him, he is most famous for his work with his band called Porcupine Tree, but he has also been doing, like, as I just told you, a lot of solo work. He has been collaborating with so many different bands and artists over the years as well. He's been collaborating with bands such as Opeth, Jethro Tull, Yes, King Crimson, and so many others as well. Most of the music that he has been creating over the years falls into genres like progressive rock and progressive metal, but he's also doing more ambient type of stuff, more art rock as well. Anyway, now that you have more of an understanding of who he actually is, let's talk about this album right here. So Insurgentes was released back in 2009. Now the name is obviously Spanish or Mexican. It's actually named after a Mexican street in Mexico City, I believe. It's a street where Wilson actually had a studio and where he recorded a part of this album. Now let's get into the first track of this album. It's called Harmony Korine. It starts out with this very calm and alluring soundscape that slowly progresses until it stumbles into this very intensified chorus with these guitars that kind of shoot out these very angular sounds. On top of these guitars you have Wilson singing this falsetto vocal delivery, and it almost sounds like the track is about to take off any minute because it's so epic. There's so much energy being put out in this part. Now the structure of the song is quite simple. There's like a verse, chorus, then there's some after chorus or a break. I'm not quite sure, but the structure is very simple, and I think that is a good thing, because if they had added anything more to this epic big soundscape right here, I think it could have been less addictive to listen to and less beautiful. I think it would have been easy to squish in some very intricate parts in here, but it would have just made it, I don't know, less cohesive in a way. Another thing that is noteworthy to look into here is the abstract lyrics. The lyrics really doesn't give any meaning at all, at least not to me, but I think that the words fit perfectly together with the rest of the melody, with the cadence of the song, and I think that is what he wanted to do at the end of the day, just have something that fits in and creates a cohesive song. The second track is called Abandoner, and it opens up with this drum beat that has a combination of live drums and electronic drums. Now the elements early on in the song, the acoustic guitar, the synth, Wilson's vocals, and also the skittery noise that you'll hear from the beat, all of these components come together to create this very dystopian and dark soundscape.
The other half is somewhere else.
It's almost reminiscent of some Nine Inch Nails track. It kind of blends together these really dark but at the same time very light and angelic components. So there's always a fight between something accordant and dissonant, and I don't know, I kind of like that part because you never know where the song is going in a way. And then before you know it, 3 minutes and 32 seconds into the song, all hell just breaks loose. A bomb of noise, of static textures, of just this ominous feel is dropped out of nowhere. I've never heard anything like this before, or as I told you, it is kind of reminiscent of Nine Inch Nails, but he's doing it in his own way. This whole album is very dark, very static. It has a mix between something very light and dark. Track number 3, Salvaging. Another gloomy soundscape, as I just told you, this dark nature combined with some glimmery, positive, hopeful moments. That is literally what you get throughout the whole record. In the background you can hear these layers of guitar. They're playing in this very rhythmic fashion, kind of slowly moving the track forward in almost, I would almost say that it sounds a bit drony. And yet again I get vibes of like a reminiscence of another band, A Perfect Circle. That is one of the first things that popped into my mind when I listened to this. Another great band, by the way, you should check it out. Wilson's vocals feel like they are very static and almost lifeless, and it just perfectly fits in together with the other components of the track. It's a very, very dystopian and dramatic song in a way. Dramatic in the way that it actually changes quite rapidly, or not rapidly, but it changes into something completely different. It just morphs into a classical piece of music with like violins and violas, and it gets you into this very uplifting and unexpected space. And as I told you, there is a mix of positives and negatives in this music, and sometimes it just takes you by surprise, and it's a really positive surprise. It almost feels like you're witnessing peace after a really violent and raging storm, and you can finally kind of breathe and just sit back and relax before this cacophony of hell breaks loose with a lot of noise. Like there's a wall of noise just coming towards you at the end of the song. So again, you have this tilting from something dark to something light to something really violent. I really like this song. I love the balance and the dance here that is going on in the moodscape. No Twilight Within Courts of the Sun, 5th track. This is actually a song that leans more towards jazz, at least parts of it does. The guitar playing style of Wilson is quickly changing direction. It's jumping all over the place and almost taking on a persona of its own. It's spontaneous, it's quirky, it's riveting. You never know what you can expect, and again, I get this feeling that I've heard this playing style somewhere before. I don't know if you guys have been introduced to or listened to Omar Rodriguez Lopez before, but in some of his music, especially in Mars Volta, he had this exact same playing style that was very angular and riveting and very spontaneous, and I don't know, I like to see this. It's not like I think Wilson has ripped anyone off. Omar Rodriguez Lopez probably got this from someone else as well, but yeah, it just reminded me of him, his playing style. I love how Wilson has this way of knitting together all kinds of different segments and parts and genres and instruments into this soup of a cohesive song. It's really mind-boggling to me to listen to this in a way. You have angelic piano, you have noisy rock, you have jazz, you have this nightmarish classical piano part, and I don't know, I feel like Wilson is really good at creating progressive music. This is what he's been built to do in a way. Just to sum up this album, I want to say that Steven Wilson has an amazing voice, and I don't think he's using his voice to the utmost potential on this album. In many cases, he's using his voice to support the other instruments and to create an atmosphere, and that is what I think he wanted to do with this album. He wanted to create more of an atmosphere. He didn't want to create straightforward traditional songs. This is progressive rock, and he wanted to do something experimental, and he certainly did that with the help of a good combination of his voice and the instruments. I have to say that this album was very, very different to me. I've never heard anything like this before. I'm used to listening to very fast-pacing progressive rock, such as the Mars Volta. You have other bands like Periphery, Mastodon. I'm a big fan of Gentle Giant, Dream Theater, Dillinger Escape Plan, and what all of these bands have in common is that they create music that is very fast-pacing. There's a lot of action, there's a lot of things going on. But Steven Wilson is a master at creating progressive rock and progressive metal that is, it's more slow, it's calm, it's more subtle. Insurgentes is an album where he plays with the ideas of atmosphere and space and noise and dissonance. Four elements kind of dance and intersect and intervene with each other, and the result is quite original, it's quite fresh. At least to me. Maybe I haven't heard his other stuff, maybe his newer albums or his older albums are similar to this, I have no idea. Maybe you guys know. But yeah, I feel like this album is growing on me for every single listen that I put myself into. So as of now, I'm gonna give this album a 7 out of 10. Definitely worth checking out. Maybe I'll even give it an 8 if it grows more on me, I don't know. But yeah, a 7 out of 10 for now. Thank you so much for watching, guys. If you like to share, explore, and learn about rock music from Bandcamp, then I highly suggest you click the red subscribe button below. Also, make sure you hit that bell icon beside the subscribe button, because in that way you'll always get notified when I upload new videos to this beautiful place. Turning into another person. Thank you for watching, guys. Hope to see you later. Stay tuned. Bye.